So now we will write the code in order to implement the authentication in our admin web portal using the Flutter programming language. Okay, so for that purpose, as you know that we have our login button. Okay, when the admin click on this login button, what we want to do, we will simply call a method which we will implement now, that is allow admin to login. Allow admin to login. So now let's just implement this method. Okay, copy this method name, and here above the widget build we can simply implement it. It will be asynchronous, so we can say async, and let's create an instance of user which is from the Firebase or dot. Okay, and let's give it name as current user, that is the admin. Okay, the current user means the using the authentication, we want to authenticate the admin. So let's say we can give this instance any name we want. Okay, so we will give it the proper name, which is current admin, and then we can wait and we can basically authenticate the admin. That is, we have to check in the authentication, that is the email and password provided in the text field, whether these email and password exist in the database or not. Okay, so we can say Firebase or dot instance dot sign in with email and password, and as you know it required two parameters, one is the email, second one is the password. So let's just break this code in pieces so that we can see it easily. Okay, so email is basically in our email, admin email, and the password is in the admin password. Okay, and then after it we can say dot, then let's give it name as auth. We will assign the auth user to the current admin, and in case if any error occur, for that we can use dot catch error. Make sure to add one more time parenthesis, okay, on error, and then we can add curly braces. So if any error occur, we will simply display error message. So we can do that using snack bar. So we can say final, let's give it name as snack bar equals to snack bar content will be the text which we will display using the text widget, and we will say that error occurred. Okay, and then using the concatenation sign plus we will display that error message as well on error dot to string. Let's add some text style. So the text style for this will be font size. Okay, the font size will be 36 will be good, and then make sure to add a const modifier here. The background color you can also add for the snack bar. Okay, so after the content you can simply say background color, and the color for this will be colors dot, let's go with the pink accent. Okay, or you can add your own color as well, that is which color you like. Okay, so anyways, this is the background color for our snack bar. Okay, and for the text you can of course, that is for displaying the error message, that is this text color, which color you want for it. So of course you can do that by simply typing here color, and we will go with the black color. And then the durations, that is for how much seconds we want to display this snack bar. So after the background color you can simply type here duration, and we want to display this for, let's say 5 seconds will be enough. we can add the const modifier here. And in order to display this snack bar, we have to simply write here, that is scaffold messenger dot of context dot show snack bar, and here we have to pass over this snack bar. So this is for displaying the error message. Okay, with the help of snack bar we are displaying the error message. Now the same that is at the start, okay, before executing this piece of code, which I will explain. Okay, don't worry what it means. Let's copy this whole snack bar code. Okay, and here at the top we can just tell the admin, okay, after clicking the login button, that is remove this on error dot to string and this concatenation sign plus. Here we will say that loading, or you can say checking credentials. Please wait. Okay, and for how much time you want to display? For 4 seconds will be good, 4 or 5 seconds, or 6 will be good. It is totally up to you, whatever guys, that is for how much time you want to display this snack bar. Okay, make sure to remove this const from here as well as this const, and also remove the final keyword from it, and we can simply say snack bar. Okay, just like this. So this one is for displaying, that is checking credentials. Please wait. So what we have done so far, okay, first of all, as you know that when the admin click on the login button, we are simply calling that method, which is allow admin to login. Okay, and then here we at the start display for 6 seconds the snack bar, that is checking credentials, please wait. Okay, and basically with the help of Firebase auth, we in the Firebase authentication we are checking, that is the email and password provided in the text field by the admin. If that email and password, okay, if that are correct, and if that exists in the authentication, for example, let's say this one. Okay, so if that exists, then get this user, okay, this user data, that is their email, their user ID from the authentication. Okay, and we get that in case of successful. Okay, we get that and we assign it to our current admin. Okay, this is the successful statement in case of success. Okay, otherwise if any error occur, that is catch error. So if any error occur, we can say here that is in case of error. So in case of error, that is if any error occur, we simply display that error message to the admin for 5 seconds using the snack bar widget in Flutter. So now after that, what we want? We also want to check that the user, let's say in case of success, okay, that is, let's say the admin or the user who has, who is authenticated successfully, okay, using the Firebase authentication. Okay, let's say if the email provided and password is correct, then we have to check, that is, if the record for that specific admin also exists in the Firestore database. Okay, if that exists, only in that case we will allow the admin to use the web portal. Otherwise we will not allow the admin to use the web portal. So how we can do that? Let's just do that here. Okay, so first of all, here we can minimize the code. Okay, outside the catch error, okay, here outside we can add a condition first, that is if current admin not equals to null. which simply means that if the admin is authenticated successfully using the Firebase authentication, that is, if their email and password match with the Firebase authentication, then after it we want to check further, that is, check if that admin record first we will make a query to the Firestore admins collection. Okay, so we can say Firebase firestore.instance.collection and collection admins, which is this one. Okay, and then after the admins, that specific admin, so you can say dot document. Okay, and here we have to pass the current admin who is trying to log in, current admin dot uid. Okay, that current admin who is trying to log in, we will get that specific admin record from the admins collection in the Firestore database, and then we can add a condition, that is, first of all we say .then, and let's give this name as snap. So we will say that if snap dot exist, so if that admin exists, if that specific admin record exists in the admins collection, it simply means that we have to allow that specific admin to use the web portal. So we will simply send the admin to the page, which is the home page, using the material page route and our page name, which is home screen. Okay, so we can say home screen. Okay, in case if that specific admin record exists in the admins collection in the Firestore database, okay, this if condition will be executed. Else, if no record exists, then of course in that case we have to display a message that is, hey, no record exists. Okay, and for that purpose just copy this snack bar, okay, and we will simply paste it inside the else statement, and we will change this, that is, no record found, no record found. And you can further add message, that is, you are not an admin. Okay, so let me quickly give you an overview of the code. First of all, what we have did, when the admin click on the login button, we call this method. Okay, and we tell the admin to please wait, we are checking the credential using the snack bar widgets. And then after it, within the authentication, okay, Firebase authentication, we are checking if that email and password of the admin, if that has been provided correct. Okay, and if that exists in the authentication, then simply get that admin and assign it to the current admin, and if any error occur, then simply display error message. And then after it, if the admin is successfully authenticated, okay, if the admin is successfully authenticated, which simply means if the current admin is not equals to null, that is, if the current admin is online, okay, authenticated using the Firebase authentication successfully, then after it we have to check, that is, if that specific admin, okay, if that specific admin record exists inside the admins collection in the Firestore database. So if that exists, if that record exists in the Firestore database, then simply allow the admin to go to the home screen and use the admin web portal. Otherwise, display a message that is no record found, you are not an admin. So now let's just test the app. Open up the terminal and simply paste the command for testing the application on the web browser. And our app is running now, but it is just displaying this white screen, which simply means we have got an error. In order to check, you have to right click here, okay, in your browser, and then simply click on the inspect. And in the inspect you have to click on console, where you will see this, that is uncaught syntax error identifier initialize app has already been declared, and so on. Okay, here you can see option not equals to null. I mean, we will get these two errors, so let's just fix that. So for that purpose, go to the web index.html, and in here above this script type module, okay, here we can simply say script, and then inside the starting script we have to write simply src equals to and then double quotes. Now inside this double quotes we have to paste this Firebase app.js, okay, this one. Just select and cut this and paste it here, okay, and change this to 8.10.0 and remove these three imports, which is for the auth, Firestore, and this one, okay. Just remove this. So then we have to copy paste it 2 times in order to use the auth and the Firestore, and of course we have to copy paste it 1 more time for using, for adding the script for Firebase analytics. So we can say Firebase analytics, and then after it we have our Firebase config. So we can say that Firebase dot initialize app, and also we can say Firebase dot analytics. And one more thing is, here we have to add a script first. We have to define the source, which is our main dot js, main dot js, and after this we can define the type, which will be application slash JavaScript, application slash JavaScript, and make sure to remove this type from this here, okay, type module. We do not need that. So now let's just test the app to see if it is working or not. So here we go, our app is working now successfully. Now first of all, I'm trying to log in, right here the seller email and password, okay. For example, if I show you, then let's try to log in using Italian, okay, which is a seller and not admin. So we can say Italian@gmail.com, okay, and then of course the password. So if we click on login, it says checking credentials, please wait. No record found, you are not an admin, because this is a seller, this is not an admin. even if you give it any email, that is, let's say an email whose even do not exist in the authentication. Okay, so checking credential, please wait, and let's see what we get as a result for a dummy. Okay, error occurred, there is no record corresponding to this identifier. Okay, so in short, you have to provide the exact email and password for the admin whose record exists in the admin's collection in the Firestore database. Okay, for example, I'm now going to log in using Parker, who is admin. Okay, so I will simply write here Parker at gmail.com, and then of course the password, then click login, checking credential, please wait. We got an error for this email because it is not Parker at gmail.com. I mean, we are not authenticating successfully from the authentication because it is Parker at foodapp.com. Okay, so by mistake we forgot to use this, I mean save the same email for the Parker admin. Let's just change that quickly, because we are getting no response from the authentication, which simply means, I mean, we are getting the response, but it's saying that is no record exist related to Parker at gmail.com. Okay, so let's just change this to Parker at foodapp.com. Okay, by mistake I write Gmail, or it is foodapp.com. Okay, so anyways, now let me just write here the correct foodapp.com. okay, and if I log in, checking credential, please wait. So here we go, we are successfully logged in to the app. Now let's try to check using the second admin, which is admin1 at foodapp.com. Let me confirm the record in the Firestore database as well, admin1 at foodapp.com. okay, so now I'm going to write here admin1 at foodapp.com. okay, and I'm going to now put a wrong password just to see, I mean, what we get as a result if we have wrong password. Checking credentials, please wait. And error occurred, the password is invalid or the user does not have a password. So we must provide the correct password. And by the way, let's change the background color of our snack bar widget. Okay, inside the authentication login screen, let's use the cyan color, which will looks good according to the user interface. Okay, so also here we will change this to cyan, and then here as well. Okay, now let's restart our app. So our app is running now, and now let's provide the correct email and password, foodapp.com, and then the correct password, and login. So checking credential, please wait. So here we go, we are logged in successfully to the admin web portal after providing the correct admin email and correct admin password. So let me tell you one more time, if that record exists, that is, if the authentication is successful, that is, if the same email and password exist in the Firebase authentication, okay, if that exists in the authentication, after that it will check also the record, that is, if the record exists in the Firestore database, then only then we will be allowed to go to the home screen and use the admin web portal, that is, the admin will be allowed to use the admin web portal.